knowledge, and for years you were helping to, you know, highlight, their talents, and now you're trying to exploit the weaknesses of some of these guys. Is that challenging? Was that weird at all? Like when you game plan for guys that you know so well?
No, they're really good players. Do they have weaknesses like all of them? Yes, they do. But they're so good at their strengths that sometimes it's difficult to get them to play into their weaknesses. So because they're versatile, because they're talented, you do have, inner knowledge that some people might not have because you've been around them so much. But, again, they're really, really good basketball players that have been surviving because teams have been trying to take away their strengths for a long time, and they've still been good enough to get it done.
Speaking of that preseason game, I believe it was like in the first 3 or 4 minutes, you guys were able to jump out to like a 12-4 lead. Was there anything that you could take away from that to kind of replicate for this game tonight?
No, we were just playing our system both sides of the ball, and that's all we'll continue to do is, as this season goes along, we want to keep building on what we do and who we are and stay consistent in that. So, our system in those early minutes were effective. Gave them an opportunity to see it as well. So now I'm sure they'll be prepared for it and be ready to make some adjustments towards it. But we'll go out, keep working on our system, keep trying to get better at it and see how they match it.
Is it strange at all, JB, coming back in this situation?
No, not really. It's part of what we do. Obviously coming in on a bus instead of driving in and, small things like that make it different. But it's a basketball game at the end of the day, and we're here to try to go out and win.
What kind of reception do you expect to get from the fans?
Who knows? My time here, I got mixed reception, so I might get booed, I might get cheered, who knows?
Yeah, JB on Wednesday, Kay said he needed to do a better job of getting the team into its sets in the fourth. His 2 halves were a little bit different, but he still, I think, had 6 assists in the first half, even when the shot wasn't falling. Do you want to see him come out and be more aggressive to set that tone, or were you okay with the first half? He had shots just didn't fall.
Yeah, we just want our guys to read the game. Depending on how the defense is playing, we want him to take advantage of that. If teams want to be more aggressive to him early, then he's such a good passer that he can make his teammates better. If guys want to play him a little bit softer and stay home, then he can be more aggressive as a scorer. So we just want him to read the game. His responsibility is heavy. He's got a huge burden because the ball's in his hand so much that he just can't think about himself. He's got to think about everybody. So, as coaches, we got to do our job to help him. But we just want him to read the game and be aggressive while he's doing it.
JB, you're thinking about tonight, but when you reflect on your time here, what are you most proud of?
I think we did a hell of a job here. From where we started when our staff took over to where we finished. In any rebuild situation, if you could ask for that to happen, every GM in this league, every owner in this league, every player in this league would sign up for it. We got better every year. Every year we went further. So we did the job we were asked to do, and I'm proud of that.
JB, just looking at Ron in the preseason and in summer league, just tell the kind of competitor he is. What do you like the most about him? And he said that he's kind of working on slowing down and letting the game come to him. Can you just speak to that?
Yeah, the thing that's been most impressive is he's just fearless. You watch some of the guys that he's kind of gone after, the way he, defensively, gotten a few skirmishes already, but just hasn't backed down from anybody. And to be a rookie and, young at that, to come in and, take on challenges of these proven veteran guys, I just have a ton of respect for that. He understands how to impact winning and what that looks like from a guy who, has used to been the ball in his hand, the dominant playmaker, scorer, all those things. But, he kind of understands how he's working his way into this, but how he can still be impactful because that's all he wants to do. So at a young age, that's very mature, and that bodes well for his future.
JB, what did go through your mind when you walked back in here tonight?
Absolutely nothing. I didn't recognize these halls back here. Trying to figure out where to go, but that's it. It's again, I know there is a deal to be made about it, but honestly, all we're trying to do is get together what we have, get better every day, and spend your focus there. I've told you before, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, you'll look back on it, but when you're in the moment, it doesn't matter. Right? So you just keep doing the job you're supposed to do.
JB, how similar is this starting point with the Pistons as to when you kind of got rolling with the Cavs?
I mean, obviously similar, just coming off of where we are and where we started. I think this group has a ton of talent. There's a ton of high draft picks here already. That guys that have high ceiling and high potential. So it's our responsibility to do the best we can to help those guys get better. We added in some really good veterans. We had some really good veterans here, the Ricky Rubios and Kevin Loves when we were here early also. So there is a balance and a lot of similarities in the organizations at the time.
Darren did a pretty good job of setting the tone with his defensive rebounding on Wednesday when you're going up against a guy like Jarrett Allen, and then you have Evan Mobley lurking around too. What do you tell Darren about that matchup and just being able to still try to maintain that physical edge?
It's the same for him every single night. We've had the conversation with him that he's a tone setter for our team. And if we want to continue to take steps in the right direction, he's got to carry that load every night. It's not one of those things you get to turn on and turn off because people are watching you. And, the conversation with our group is everybody's a leader in their own way. And he leads by setting the tone with the energy, with the physicality, his communication on the defensive end of the floor. So that's, what's needed of him. And all these guys have done a great job of trying to do what they need, what their teammates need them to do, and that's his role.
JB, in June you made some comments on the radio about Luka showing toughness playing through rib injury, and some people here took that as a subtle criticism about Jarrett Allen and missing the final 8 games of the playoffs. And Jarrett today said he hopes you get cheered and there's no bad blood. But did that cause any friction between you and him, and where's that relationship?
Jarrett and I have a great relationship and always will, and none of the outside noise will impact that. Those comments had absolutely nothing to do with Jarrett Allen. If you want to ask me a question about Jarrett Allen, I'll tell you. I'm not one of those guys that's going to beat around the bush or give you vague responses. I've never been that way. If I have a problem with a person or a player, ask me directly and I'll tell you. I love Jarrett Allen. We have a great relationship. I saw him last week. We had a huge hug and a huge embrace. And I would never say anything to slight him or question him. And I think that's a lot of silly people that are just searching for something to be found, who've got nothing better to do and looking for clickbait.
During training camp, you talked about how Tim Hardaway Jr. is more than a shooter, but a couple of nights ago we saw him finally get out of that shooting slump that he was in during training camp. So when he have an opportunity to really start knocking down shots, what's the kind of impact do you think he's going to have on his team?
I think it just makes everybody's job easier. When you're a threat that way and teams are game planning for you, just everybody around you becomes better because the spacing becomes better. There's less eyes on, who may be handling the ball. And it just makes our team more dynamic overall. So it just makes you more difficult to defend.
Just going back to Ron, he mentioned that Jarrett Jack's been someone that's really been in his ear about the process and all of this. One, just his work with Ron, what you've seen and observed, and also Jarrett just being on staff and knowing where these guys have been before.
He's been great for us. He's been very helpful to me. Obviously his experience with the guys, his experience playing in the NBA, and the type of player that he was. You know what I mean? Like he was a tough, gritty guy who had to use intelligence and study the game and prepare the game the right way and see it from a coach's perspective a lot of times. So he's been great for us. He relates to guys still on a high level because he's just brutally honest. He's not one of those guys that's pulling punches or, trying to play mind games. Like he just tells guys the truth. And the guys have embraced it and I've appreciated it.